All right, so good evening yet again to all mentorship traders. December 12th, 8:30 p.m. We are yet again in one Thursday evening. A warm welcome to all new mentorship traders who have joined us over the last 1 week. What we generally do in this Thursday's live class is talk about the Nifty and the Bank Nifty the first few minutes, and then we take up your doubts and questions one by one. So as you can see right in front of you, I have the daily chart of the Nifty with our channels drawn. So let's quickly take a look at the weekly, and not much to take away from the weekly as of now. It's the market's hovering at the upper border of this yellow channel. We've been talking about 12K. The markets had taken it out quite convincingly, but then it's slipped, not gone up. So it's just buying time. This is consolidation in terms of time, not in terms of price. I think this is healthy. This is good because the steepness of this bounce back or this rally needs to consolidate for more strength, for more headroom, so that it can go further up. From a medium term to a long term perspective, we are hopeful about the market trying to touch the upper border of this blue line. Time will tell us whether that happens and when that happens. Daily chart is interesting because last week we had drawn this channel. We had named our Thursday session saying that it's time to consolidate. And we also spoke that a breakdown below this channel, it's not going to be, in a short-term period at least, not going to be good for the market, and it did slip down. We were looking at previous lows and further down close to that 11,800 mark. I think the Nifty came as low as close to 11,832. So that's very close. Essentially bouncing back from previous lows. Very interesting. You would see a head and a left shoulder head kind of formation. Those who looks into chart patterns, classical, conventional, technical analysis, left shoulder, head, maybe the right shoulder, highly possible. Highly possible. So we have a 2-day bounce back. The banks did play a role today. Prices can inch further up. This yellow channel is likely to give some resistance. If at all it comes, we'll look into the shorter time frame to figure that out. But we're not completely giving away the possibility of a test of 11,800 or further down to 600, 700. We're not being extremely bearish, but generally when we have this kind of a scenario, it'll be interesting to see how the market behaves close to this level. Very interesting. Psychologically, if a bearish pattern forms, if the bearish pattern breaks down, majority of the technical traders will go bearish and it can be a trap. But all this is in the future, so we'll see how it plays out. In terms of levels, of course, the current lows, which was close to yesterday's lows of 11,830. We've been talking about 11,800 in our last class. They are the supports. A clearer picture of that, you will get it from the 75-minute chart over here. So we are essentially at previous. So let's move a little down. These are the supports. In terms of resistance, I feel that this band, let me draw a band over here. For me, from a short-term perspective, short-term intraday. So tomorrow's Friday. So this is the zone where this bounce back is likely to face some amount of resistance. Highly possible. We will see if it does. Another important thing that comes out from the daily chart is we have a new channel that I can draw in front of you right now. As you know that all our channels that I draw are based out of the relative strength index. And the new channel that I can see that we can have here will behave something like this. And let's say blue. So very flattish horizontal kind of a channel, and we are looking at around 12,150 and 11,850, so around 400 points channel. So a breakdown below this blue channel will mean a definite short-term reversal in our hands. Interesting to see. We'll keep the yellow channel for the time being because the lower border can give some resistances. Strategically, if we conclude Nifty view, then I would say that we have a breakdown, markets bouncing back from its previous lows. Some kind of a bearish pattern is shaping up. We have short-term resistances on the top. If the market takes out, let's say 12,080, 12,100 on the upside convincingly, then definitely there's more strength. Then definitely I feel more short covering will come into the market. If it reacts from these highs and comes down, then a retest of this low is very likely. And the break of this low, you definitely have a test of this. Time will tell us. But considering the fact that many large cap stocks were oversold and bounced back, like we had an example of SBI and etc. We'll look into the stocks a little later. It'll be interesting to see what the market decides to do first. So strategically, continue to look for swing trading opportunities both in the up as well as the downside. Strategically for tomorrow and I think better half of next week, keep your trades short-lived. Do not sit on your trades for too long, either long or short. Extremely choppy markets, and I think if you get some profits, it makes sense to book them. Bank Nifty, as we always take a look at Bank Nifty as well, has given this breakdown, has come down to our anticipated supports. We had drawn this, I think, last week, I don't recall exactly. It's bouncing back. We don't have that beautiful head and shoulder kind of a formation on the Bank Nifty yet. If it bounces back further up, now banks is what played out today really well. If it goes up further up, now I don't have such kind of a beautiful horizontal support zone or resistance zone on the Bank Nifty. So banks can actually extend further up. I will not be surprised if banks lead the move for the Nifty. I think there is headroom. So the outperformance from the banks can continue. Resistance, of course, will be the previous highs, which is close to psychological 3,200. The medium to long-term charts, there's not much change. It's just hovering above life highs and holding well. It has strength to go all the way close to that 33K and little more than that. But when we compare the Nifty behavior and the Bank Nifty behavior, the Bank Nifty still has steam, strength left. So the support, the performance, the push for the Nifty can continue to come from the banks. We will not be surprised. And if that happens, then both Bank Nifty and the Nifty will go up. However, if that doesn't happen, and if we see some amount of weakness coming in from the banks or consolidation coming in from the banks, then the Nifty weakness will continue. Then the non-banking stocks can pull down the Nifty. Maybe the large cap IT like TCS, maybe HDFC or Larsen and Toubro or Reliance, but the non-banking stocks can drag the index down. So let's stay positive, or let's stay a little relatively bullish on the banks, selective banks, of course, and see how the Bank Nifty continue to support the Nifty. Overall, I think we can conclude our Nifty analysis or the overall market analysis by saying that markets, both index Nifty and Bank Nifty, are bouncing back from its previous lows, aka previous supports. It'll be interesting to see whether this bounce back has enough headroom to go further up or not. Bank Nifty seems to be more powerful than the Nifty, and considering more than 30% weightage, such weightage will definitely help the Nifty stay up. A failure from the banks can lead to an overall failure from other sectors to support, and that can lead to a fall for both Nifty as well as Bank Nifty. On the short term, we are cautious on both the sides, bullish and bearish. On the medium to long term, we are overall fairly bullish, if not quite strongly bullish. So that's our weekly take on the markets, everyone. It's over to you now. Let's discuss our trades that we have done over the week. Let's discuss about the trades that we are going to do tomorrow and over the